communities now. Listen, you know this liquor stuff is killing people and making them have wrecks and things that going on. But the government's got a liquor store on every corner when you run people down for selling liquor and going on. Now you got that under control. You see what I'm saying? Now you got basing under control. The government. You see what I'm saying? You're the people that's doing all these things, and you listen, and your liquor stores and things, and your drug stores and things, your drug stores is the dope dealers. You're trying to make like it's people selling cocaine and stuff. It's you people selling all these drugs in the drugstore. You see, you got people on insulin, you got people on all kind of medicine and stuff there, and going on. You're the dope dealers. That's who it is. The ones that's got the government under control of the pills and things. The FDA ain't nothing but the drug company. They passed this right here, and now you're going to make millions of dollars on that. And listen, this book that you're talking about was coming out with somebody, and I wouldn't pay 5 cents to hear the book. You understand? 5 cents. The book ain't nothing. You listen, I can get the Bible free and read the Bible and see sense and stuff in it. You ain't got a book nowhere that I give you 20 cents for. Yeah, oh, it's a wonderful book. Oh, it's nothing. Yeah, it's nothing but something you done conjured up. You see what I'm saying? And for folks to read it and be stupid with it and going on, and it won't tell you nothing. If you can give me a book that'll tie knots and things, how to tie fishing knots or something like that, I'll learn how to tie that. But you can't learn me nothing about a human being. I've already known about a human being. God has already given me this. You understand what I'm saying? I know who a woman is. I know who a man is. You people don't know who a man is, and you don't know who a woman is, you wouldn't be laying in the bed with a man. You see what I'm saying? Another man laying with a man, a woman with a woman. You don't know nothing. You see, I already know this.
Now that part you're ignorant on, sir. That part you're a little bit ignorant on because you're old.
And you call someone, you set up talking about it, you set up your own self talking about it, you Harry, talking about, well, every time I got something, I got a recording and all. That's the cause you put up with this stuff that you're doing and going on. And every time you call, you get a machine. You understand? You people put up with it and going on. You done took away from things like that and going on. You done messed up the food and stuff and going on. You think you run this world like this? You can't run this world like this. Listen, God's not going to destroy you himself. You understand what I'm saying? You're going to destroy
your own self. That's right.
What God has given you to live by. You're not going to live by that. You're living by man's machines and his foolishness. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not going to die by your foolishness. I'm going to die by my own self. God has given me this. You people ain't got no sense.
And God is the government of deception. That's what God is. You better get some higher consciousness. You better get some true education. Let the Gnostic kings or the Gnostic queens teach you from Gnostic 5 senses knowledge.
To learn how to eat 25 hot dogs, you dummy. You understand what I'm saying? I don't want to go to no college to learn how to eat no hot dogs. You see what I'm talking about? Now you have a good thing this morning and listen to what I've told you instead of listening to Donald Trump and other foolish people and going on. Listen to God.
All right, appreciate it. 222-9224.
People can't spend money they don't have. That's not true. People in this country are in debt up to their necks. Credit cards, houses that they can't afford, houses that...
Yeah, maybe what I should have said is they shouldn't spend money that they don't have, but yeah, they do.
No, well, you can't tell people...
I know.
You can't tell people what to do.
Of course not.
People are free to do what they want to do. The best you can do is take personal responsibility. What you do in your household. We got people who are buying houses 30-year mortgage, they're going to be dead before they can ever pay the house off. That's spending money that you don't have. And they got big, I heard the guy talking about trucks. They got big new shiny trucks. $40,000 and $50,000. They in debt. They live in paycheck to paycheck. If their job's gone, they're destroyed. They're going to have to go to the government for help. And that's another thing about government and programs and entitlements. You got the rich people, now let's take Barry for instance. Barry's constantly criticizing people about being on government dole. He's pointing to the poor people, but he's exempt because he's a millionaire getting a government check. And if you mention that, the first thing he points to the Democrats. Well, the Democrats don't want you to get nothing back if you're a millionaire. Look, you tell me the rationale behind a guy who's constantly bragging about it. He's a millionaire, but also bragging about his government check and pointing fingers at the poor people who need it. And let me point this out. Government is by the people and for the people. And it's not, the people don't understand that well-to-do people get more from the government than poor people. Like the guy said, look, we're financing the things for the moon. Trump's coming up with this golden dome thing, and that he's setting up for Elon Musk and get him a nice contract to build this dome. That's my guess. Who's going to build this golden dome? It's Elon Musk. Rich people like that. That's who's getting the money. But they pointing to the poor people, and you got people like Barry, who doesn't know any better. He's looking at the poor people and saying that's where all the money goes. The bulk of the money is not going to the poor people. Like I said, it's going to the well-to-do people. And poor people don't get grants for research and grants to send things to the moon and all that stuff. It's the well-to-do people who are squandering the money of this government. But and I hear you always blame the politicians. We have a representative form of government. We have people to represent us. The people voted for Trump, and look, he's going to add $4 trillion to the budget. To the debt. Now look, Trump's out for himself and the rich people. Who's going to profit from this Bitcoin thing that he's got going? Not the poor people. Poor people don't own into Bitcoin, and they're not going to own into Bitcoin. Trump's selling citizenship. He's selling pardons. He's in the business for himself. And he's running up the debt. And in his first administration, when they got through the tax cut, well, the people knew the tax cuts were going to run out of sunset, whatever they call it. They knew that. And you talk about that all the time, about getting a grant. Knowing it's going to run out, and then you're going to have to pick up the tab yourself if you want to keep it going. Well, that's what's happened with the tax cut. The tax cut is not the people saying it's a tax increase if you don't pass the bill. No. You just letting the tax cut run out. It's not a tax. That's why they designed it that way, because they got you over the barrel saying, well, it's going to be an increase. No, it's not an increase. That's the way you want it. It's an increase when you pass it. And there's people in charge of it, and poor people ain't doing that. And another thing Barry's talking about, like the super solar land, so they could get on
welfare or something. That's ridiculous. The cost of living is so high, and the taxes are so high on the land. How are you going to keep the taxes up and own the land if you don't have any money coming in except the Social Security check? And then what happens? The rich people end up with all the land, all the money, all the bricks from the government, and that's what. Now, change the subject. I heard you say teachers go in to teaching because of a calling. That's ridiculous. Maybe they like teaching. People like their job. Yes, people like the job of teaching, but that's not what they go in. They have houses, mortgages, car payments, kids to put in school. You gotta have money, and to do that, you're gonna look for a job that pays better money. You're still doing the same thing, but you want to get paid for it. That's what. That's my opinion about any job. You need to get paid. And I heard you say last week about the WNBA. Oh, they are playing their heart out for the love of the game. They love the game, but that's not why they're playing their hearts out. They're playing their hearts out to improve the WNBA where they can get paid on par with the men. Kate and Clark, as you pointed out, got a $30 million contract with endorsements. That's what they are looking for. They're in it for the money. Nobody's playing. Look, they love the game they play, but they're not playing it for the pleasure. They play it because they want to.
The point I was making, Charlie, they don't get the endorsements. They don't get them, and they still play.
That's what they're working on.
Well, but many of them worked all their lives. They played for 10 years, 15 years, never got a single endorsement, but still played for the love of the game. That's the point I'm making.
Yeah. There are people working in this country who worked in the tobacco fields,
Of course.
lumber yards, factories, never made over $1.25 an hour, but they had to take care of their families, so they kept on working.
I understand that. And what you're saying is true. I'm not denying that. What I'm saying is, with teachers and with people in the NBA, they know what the amount of money is, and they know that they went into the NBA without an endorsement and they were making $75,000 a year. They were willing to do it because they love the game.
Yeah,
That's all I'm saying.
they were willing to do it because that's all the money they could get paid.
No, they've got college degrees. They can go do something else that pays a whole lot more than that. But what they do is they play in the NBA because they want to.
No.
Even though they don't get very much money.
No, Wilson, Harry, listen. People look for the future. People looking to better themselves. If they know the NBA, let's take the NBA or the NFL. College kids know that all of them know they're not going to get in football and in basketball. They know that, but that does not stop them from dreaming and trying to do that. People are looking for the future. They are. People not settling and say, well, I know I'm a dad to work in the factory, I'm going to have to work in the factory. No, they going to better themselves and move ahead. Teachers are the same way.
Okay.
And teachers are getting paid a lot more than it was way back when they had.
Sure, my daddy was in there. He got $10,000 a year. Yeah. All right. Appreciate it. Thank you, Charlie. Thank you very much. 222-9224.
I will say it today. I hadn't listened to the show in almost this week, but the person who does listen to it, as you may recall, one of the people that was on the internet thing, that top line thing that was on the computer, on the internet one time. So we still conversate, and so he sent me something yesterday that was on the show. He said, this proves what you said. So, but anyway, before I get to that, I do want to say, there's a lot of things that totally proves what's going on in this administration that has happened over the week, in the last couple of weeks. supposed to happen or was only going to happen if Kamala Harris was elected. But so I try to get that tomorrow if I find time. But let me just say this though, teachers, I do find myself, and I don't mind that, disagreeing with Speaker X and agreeing with you on this one subject. Because I did hear, I only heard this call. I do believe teachers choose to teach because it's a thankless job most of the time. It's underpaid, terribly underpaid, and teaching is not like it was back in the day where the students respected you, the parents respected the teachers, even the administration respected the teachers. It's a job that I would not want to do, but it's a job that I think you do have to have a calling to do. It's the most important job in our country because it prepares the next generation that hopefully will take care of us and fix the problems that we have made. So they should for credit, but they don't. So I do believe they choose their jobs, and I'm very grateful for all of the good teachers that's out there. But what was sent to me yesterday, I've always said, birds of a feather flock together. You're known by the company that you keep. My grandmother told me that a long time ago. And if people sing you praise, you have to wonder why are they praising you unless you are like them. And so I got a message yesterday that one of the racists on this show, and very ignorant man in my opinion, stated that you were his leader, that you were their leader. And so I just, to think about when you do reflection on yourself, I reflect on myself a lot, If you ever reflect on yourself, I think you should wonder, why does a racist call you his leader? Why would a racist believe that you are so in line with him that he will put you the head of his organization? That is something that if it was me, I would reflect on, because I think that says more about you than it does about him.
As usual, completely and totally ridiculous. What a ridiculous, stupid, ignorant thing to say. You just said that you agreed with me about something on this one thing. You said this one thing that I disagree with Charlie about and agree with you. Does that mean that I'm your leader because you agree with me? No, doesn't mean that. And if somebody, even if you said it, it wouldn't mean that. It doesn't mean that at all. It means that on this one particular thing, you agree that their teachers are called to teach. That's all that means. And I can't control what someone else says or what someone else thinks. But what someone else says and someone else thinks has nothing to do with me. Nothing. Absolutely nothing to do with me. Nothing. They come to their conclusions on their own with no help from me. Now, I don't remember this. If somebody said I was their leader, I don't remember them saying that. I just don't remember it. I'm not saying that they didn't say it, because I talk to, literally dozens and dozens and dozens of people every week, and I can't remember everything that everybody says. So I don't remember that. But, I'll take your word for it. If somebody said that, that doesn't make me their leader, and it doesn't reflect on me. It reflects on them, not me. And you saying that because someone that you say is a racist, that's your opinion. He may not be a racist, but that's your opinion. That is an opinionated point of view. He may not be a racist in the eyes of anybody else but you. So therefore, that the whole thing that you just said, which the only reason you said that was because you said that you agreed with me on something. You had to put me down. You can't say something good about me and not say something bad. I think that's what speaks volumes, Michael, about you. You just can't stand it, can you? You can't say something that you and I agree on without coming up with something we don't agree on, just to balance it out. Now that speaks volumes about you. And, you know, we all these things that you have said over and over and over again, you know, you're always telling me what I should say or shouldn't say. Why haven't you said, you talk about the terrible things that the Trump administration has come up, why don't you talk about the things that they've done well? You said you can't close the border without passing a bill. He closed the border without passing a bill. Why haven't you said anything about that? Why haven't you spoken up about that? That's because it doesn't fit your narrative. So you're not going to say anything. All right, 222-9224. Right now we've got 22 minutes after 10 o'clock. Glad to have you along. Let me tell you about the folks at Southbound Sandwich Works. Now, Southbound Sandwich Works is a great place. It's a great family restaurant. You know, you can take the whole family out. The prices are just great. You know, you don't have to go to the bank and get money before you come because it's so reasonable. You know, you can get soup, salad, and sandwich for lunch or for dinner with your whole family, all the kids and grandma and grandpa. They're at 3328 South Church Street in Burlington. That's in the Correct Time Plaza. Now, they have sandwiches made to order with only the highest quality meats and cheeses and breads. Soups made fresh every day, homemade soups. Loaded potato, tomato bisque, vegetable beef, chili bean, French onion. You can even take them home in pints and quarts if you want to. They have incredible salads, like this chef salad, the pear salad, the salad trio, roast chicken salad, depot salad, and more. They have the Little Engineers menu for kids 12 and under. Free drink is included with that. You get chicken nuggets and grilled cheese, half ham and cheese sub, half turkey and cheese sub, peanut butter and jelly. Any one of those you can get, along with your choice of potato chips or fruit. Mom's can always make you get fruit, right? Southbound Sandwich Works now. They do gift certificates, takeout, and quality catering. You can call them, 336-584-9426. Tell them that you heard us talking about them on Top Line. All right, 222-9224. I saw this. This is one of those things that you just, it's one of those amazing things that happened. This happened in Prince George's County in Maryland. This was the graduating class. There were 600 graduates from Eleanor Roosevelt High School, and 20 of them were either fraternal or identical twins. 10 sets of twins in one graduation. Now, in my graduation class, there were only 30 people in my graduating class, and we had one set of twins. Here's a place that had 600, they were 10. Unbelievable. That is so unusual. But there's some areas, and the administrator at the school there said, you know, this is an area where we have an unusual number of twins. And that we've had multiple twins at graduations in the past, just never 10. That's amazing. 25 minutes after 10 o'clock, Select Bank and their employees take a lot of pride in Alamance County. They live here, they work here, they support our community. The Select Bank is committed to strengthening our local neighborhoods and our businesses and our people by being a trusted partner. They've got the relationship the Select Bank has with its customers is what makes them special. It's not a transaction to them, it's personal. Select Bank invites you to bank local.